Alrighty, welcome back to the weight room. Thanks for tuning in again today. We're going to have a special guest come on here and join me. We're going to be talking today about all the struggles of fitness and health and diet and nutrition and all that good stuff, and kind of how we can overcome those and just kind of get you on track for the new year coming up here shortly. You know, it's a very exciting time of year with goals and aspirations and dreams and hopes, all that good stuff. So, you know, we're here to put this podcast out to help you kind of actually get there and you know, follow through and do what you want to do, and just realize that it's never too late, and realize that it doesn't have to be a new year to start, a new week to start, a new whatever to start. You can start the second you get that motivation, and then continue on and stay consistent, and that's what this podcast is going to be about. So stay tuned, enjoy the episode. Before we get started though, just remember to subscribe wherever you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube.
So I'm 25. You know, I've been competitive bodybuilding for the last 5 years now. Started out wrestling, you know, all the way throughout college. I got hurt, so I kind of took the route of more getting into the body, and nutrition kind of followed that line. You know, learning how to train, you know, around the muscle groups so that it could strengthen my injured muscles. And then I just got super fascinated with the body. So kind of took up with the nutrition and went that direction with school. So now I have the nutrition company. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the bodybuilding. It's been fun. It's been interesting. You know, I really love the sport. I really love you know, how fast the body can change, and the body just is really crazy. It's a crazy, beautiful thing.
The fact that we have this opportunity, I think, as humans to do that is also cool. You know, but the fact that we have this opportunity is something that I think a lot of people take a little bit for granted, honestly.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think even at certain points, you know, I do as well. You know, until I'm deep in a prep and I'm just tired and exhausted and complaining about, oh, I have to go to the gym, oh, I had to do cardio. And then you realize, like, you know, I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to, you know, work full time, make money, then go to the gym and do something that people truly enjoy to do and love to do. And I'm going to sit there and complain about doing it. You know, no one told me I have to prep for this show. No one told me I had to do this diet. You know, I made those choices myself. So to kind of complain about that is kind of rude, you know, and kind of selfish, you know. So I always say that perspective when I'm in prep, like, no one's making me do this. You know, I'm taking this on my own. You know, I wanted to do this. I wanted to have a full plate, so I can't complain when there's food on my plate, you know.
That's right. Yeah, I completely agree. And kind of going back in time a little bit though, how did you said you wrestled for in college and stuff like that. How did you make that transition? Was it a kind of a smooth transition, kind of a no-brainer for you to get into fitness and then into bodybuilding? How did you kind of make that transition?
It was kind of easy only because, so in college I tore everything in my left knee. So, you know, ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus, you know, so my physical therapist was actually a bodybuilder. So, you know, when I came home from school and I was working with my physical therapist, like he really showed me the ropes of, you know, the difference of what I was doing. I was already, you know, eating pretty well because of wrestling. You know, we had a diet, we had nutritionists helping us out, you know, cutting weight properly. So I already understood how to eat and how like nutrition worked. But the working out was completely different from the one I was accustomed to. You know, so it was definitely a big change for me. But it was something that really, you know, losing wrestling, I needed something to keep that competitive drive. I needed something that would keep me, you know, doing something mentally, physically. So when I had the ability to, you know, switch over to bodybuilding, you know, not even really bodybuilding, just fitness, you know, it really gave me that sense of drive back, you know, to really enjoy being in the gym and to work towards something. I wasn't really picking a show or saying I was going to do a show. I was just happy to be in the gym and back working out. And then, you know, later down the road, I kind of, you know, I was okay. 19, gonna be 20. You know, a couple of my friends from the gym were doing shows like that, and I was like, that's where I kind of was like, okay, I want to do that.
Right.
So, you know, my first show, I was 19, so I was in the teen division, and I was actually the only one in my class. And so they put me on stage with the open bodybuilders. So at 19, I was on stage with guys that were like 30, 40 years old and just looking absolutely incredible. And I was sweating so bad backstage that my tan started to run, and I was just so nervous, and pretty much everything that could have gone wrong went wrong that day. And for some reason, I just love the idea of being on stage and everything that came along with it. And I just like, you know, I feel like people say, you know, you step on stage once and you're gonna love it or you hate it. And for some reason, I just fell in love with it. So from there on, I've done like 20 shows, you know, in the past 5 years, and just every time I just look forward to stepping on stage each time, and I really truly love the sport.
Comes down to a very subjective kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
feeling.
it's a very subjective sport, and unfortunately, it is political, you know. But yet, every sport is, in every, you know, the way I have learned to look at it. Obviously, no one wants to lose. Losing isn't fun. You know, no one wants to work that hard to lose. But you have to look at the as, did you look better than last time you competed? Did you do everything you could do to look your best? And if you have, then there's no true loss in what happened. You know, you still physically put yourself through everything you could have. You mentally went through this prep, you know, and you looked better than what you did last time. And that to me is, you know, you win there. You know, it's always better to win the show as well, but you have to take the positives when you can.
It's a very mental sport, obviously, as much of it is as it is physical. You know, you're building your body. It's a very physical thing, but it's such a mental battle too. Just, I mean, I've never competed, but I just know from talking to different competitors that you really along the whole process, you know, from just training and, you know, prep to the actual show. And then afterwards, you kind of have that, you know, emotional roller coaster as well. It really is this kind of mental battle, it seems.
Yeah, you know, this last prep was actually extremely difficult for me. I've gone through some tough preps before, but this last one, you know, I work construction, so I'm working 12-hour shifts a day. Uh, you know, up at 4 o'clock, doing my cardio, go to work from, you know, 6 to 5, 6 to 6, whatever it is. Come home, go straight to the gym, work out, cardio again. You know, it was a very hard prep, and there was definitely a lot of days where I just didn't want to do it anymore. But you know, then I go back to the perspective where it's like, you know, I have this ability to do it. You know, I was taking the gym for granted. I was taking work for granted. So I had to consistently remind myself that I'm able to do this. I want to do this, and I'm not doing it for anybody else but myself. You know, I want to do the show. I want to win. I want to be a pro bodybuilder. Like, so it was, you know, there were days that were hard, and there are days that you don't want to work out, you don't want to do the cardio, you don't even want to wake up, you don't want to get out of bed. But you know, you have to remind yourself that, you know, this, you're doing it for yourself, and no one's going to do it for you. And it's the people that can push themselves through those extremely tough moments are the ones that will, you know, succeed in the sport and really in life in general.
It really just comes down to doing it when you don't want to do it, because everybody can do it when they want to do it, when they feel good and when they're motivated. But, you know, you have to figure out, like, and I think that's where having a deeper meaning behind, you know, what makes you do it. And I think that that's important, but just sticking to it. And I think motivation is really, it's a big thing, no doubt, because, you know, it makes you get started, and getting started is oftentimes a very big battle in and of itself. Just
Oh, absolutely.
overcoming those mental challenges. You know, putting yourself out there to actually go to the gym, because that's a very big struggle for a lot of people. That, you know, all those things are big mental battles that take, you know, motivation to get going. But after that, it really kicks into discipline and being able to just be like, okay, this is you know, this is going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be whatever kind of struggle comes my way. But is it something that I'm that I have a big enough is it something that I have a big enough reason behind to keep going even when I don't want to?
You have to respect anyone that is going to the gym daily. Not everyone has the same fitness goals, but it's never easy to, like you said, get started. I think getting started is the hardest part because people are insecure, people don't have the drive, they don't know where to start. But getting your foot in the door is the biggest first step. It's the biggest start you can get, because not everyone, like I said, has the same fitness goals as such a bodybuilder or a fitness influencer has. They just they want to look better, they want to feel better. But the saying is, building habits is, it's what it's really all about. It's where it all starts. Getting to the gym, getting yourself there the first day. Okay, I can do this again. Okay, I can do this again. Eating right. Starting it. 14 days to build a habit. That's really all it takes. Just consistency. And then once you kind of get into that motion and that flow, that okay, I can do this. I can do this. It's not as bad as I think. And then you really start to enjoy it. And once you enjoy it, that's when it's not really, it's not hard to get yourself to do things anymore. Because once you truly enjoy it and you enjoy the process and you start seeing changes, that's when it starts becoming truly addictive. That's when people really start really loving the gym and loving every aspect that follows it, because change in your body, your mentally, physically, that's what people want. That's what you get addicted to. And the consistency is only going to make it change even more and faster.
Creating a habit is like creating a new lifestyle, and when you can create a new lifestyle around healthier habits, it's almost like you don't even think about it anymore because it's just that's the way that you know to do things. And whether you realize it or not, you're in a habit, you're in a lifestyle right now. Even if it's an unhealthy one, you're in that lifestyle, and you don't think about it. You don't think, oh, this is weird that I'm eating out, eating fast food 6 days a week, or that I'm not going to the gym and I'm sitting on the couch for 3 and 4 hours a night. Like those are habits that you don't think about. But if you can push yourself to create those healthier habits, you're no longer going to be like, well, this is weird, or this is uncomfortable, or this is whatever, because it just becomes your way of life. It becomes your lifestyle, and it's something that you don't think about anymore. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to realize, because they're probably thinking, I don't want to have to feel like this for the rest of my life to be healthy. But in reality, you're not going to. You're going to get over that hump to where it just becomes normal.
I think what people more are worried about is what everyone else's perception is of them. When I first started getting into bodybuilding, I lost a lot of friends because at 21, I'm not going out to drink. I'm not going out to party. I'm going to the gym late at night. I'm meal prepping, and people just didn't understand it. Like, why would I give up the bar scene? Why would I give up going out and drinking and partying to go work out? It's because I made the choice that I wanted to be healthier. And I had a sacrifice to achieve the goals that I wanted to get. And I think people are so caught up in the perception of caring what everyone else thinks more about what they think about themselves. And that's like the hardest thing for people to get over sometimes, is worrying what other people think.
Yeah, that's a big struggle, especially in the world of social media, to where everybody can see what everybody else is doing. And it's definitely your choice to be like, I'm going to post on here, I'm going to look on here, but at the same time, it's just one of those habits and part of your lifestyle, really, to get on social media and to have that mindset of, well, I am concerned what people think if I post, instead of posting a picture on Friday night that I'm out going out with the girls or with the boys to the bar. If I post a picture of me at the gym, it does play a role in how you see yourself and how you think others see you as well. And it keeps kind of going back to the same thing. It's just this huge mental thing that we all have to deal with it at one point or another.
Right. Like, I mean, there's definitely everything can be have in moderation. People can still look a certain way and still go out and enjoy drinks and still go out and party, but the idea is that you still have to keep in keep everything in moderation. You can't just give up everything you've done all week just to go drink on the weekends. If you really want to see results, you have to truly be committed to the whole aspect of it. If you put in 80%, you're only getting 80% results. So that's really the hardest thing for people to do, is that you really commit 100% into something. But that's when you're truly going to see the most results. And that's, like I said, I think that's the most addicting part, is the results.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once you see those results, it's like, oh wow, this is actually achievable. This is possible.
And then,
You know,
then
my my
those
goals in
habits just
sight.
get a lot easier to get into, okay, I can go out once a month instead of every weekend, and still achieve my goals. I can meal prep and have one or two cheat meals a week now, because I'm really starting to get to where I need to be. Everything that you have to do in life is moderation. Unless you're a truly competitive bodybuilder, even then, you still have to have a life. We have to have a life outside of the gym, or else we'll go insane.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to, you have to, like you said, you have to put in that time. And I think being going 100% when you're doing what you're doing, I think is important. If you're only going 80% at the gym and you expect to get, those results, it's different than if you go 100% at the gym or whatever in your diet, and then that's 80% of your total time, and then you go 100%. You go 100% at the bar when that other 20%, 100% at the
Right.
at the restaurant or whatever it is. You can still go and have a great time and also work super hard. But it's kind of just like you said, just averaging out those different activities that you do.
It's just tough for some people to get a grip around that.
Definitely. So you've talked a lot about nutrition so far, and you obviously that's a big part of what you do, and I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles with people is their nutrition, because even if they get motivated enough and enough discipline and dedication to go to the gym for 30 minutes to an hour a day and all that good stuff, it's like you still have these other 20 whatever hour or 18 really hours when you're not sleeping to worry about food. And I think that's why food is the hardest part, because it's always there and you're always potentially
Right.
around it or have that potential to get it when you want it. So how do you help people overcome that kind of that ease of getting food anytime that you want it?
Truly, the first thing I try to explain to people is that you can't look at dieting as a dieting. You can't, when you say dieting, everyone just has that, salad, no food, no flavor, and everyone just hates the word diet. So what I try to explain to people is that you can still eat clean, but make it taste good. You don't have to eat the same thing every day like we do as bodybuilders. We don't eat for enjoyment. We eat for fuel. We eat for, replenishing the muscles that we're breaking down. You as to just wanting to lose weight and get stronger and get bigger, you can still eat, but it doesn't have to taste bad. It doesn't have to be bland. There's so many different foods and flavors and sauces and spices that you can put on your food that may seem like it's basic to make, but truly tastes good. There's so many different ways to cook food nowadays, even air fryers, these 0-calorie sauces, these 0-calorie spices. You just can't look at it as you're dieting. You have to look at it as a healthy choice that you're making to better yourself, but you can still make it taste good. You can add the sauce to the rice, and the sauce to your chicken, the spice to your beef, whatever you want to eat, the fish. There's so many different foods that you can eat in variety that are still healthy for you in moderation.
Yeah, and I think it's become a little bit easier over the past how many ever years, maybe what 10 years or so, because it's become, health and fitness has become kind of this trendy thing, and obviously when that happens, products follow and things
Right.
become a little bit more accessible to more people. And I think that's definitely a really good thing, but the downside to that is that these products sometimes are a little bit sometimes misleading on what they actually offer, and especially when it comes to things like supplements, it can be kind of an uphill battle to figure out, okay, is this a legit supplement? Is it do anything for me? Is the brand a quality brand? Like the the ease of getting healthy food is definitely good, but when it comes to almost an oversaturation, that's when sometimes there's a struggle to figure out what products you should be using.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I mean, now everything with every social media outlet there is, everyone's pushing their own brand and this brand and that product and this supplement. So, it is a very saturated market, so I truly don't really use too many supplements. I do use a protein. I do use some pre-workouts, some BCAs, but the best way to take care of your body is to just take, multivitamin, your vitamin C, D, and just really eating clean. You get most of your nutrients from the food that you're eating if you're keeping up with your diet properly. If you're keeping up with, eating clean carbs and clean proteins and clean fats, you will get all those nutrients that your body really needs naturally. Adding in too many things is like, that's when people get this craze of, this is so difficult, this is so hard, have to eating this and taking this with that meal. And, you know, it's not as difficult as people make it seem. It's kind of like the social media makes you feel like you need to do this to look a certain way.
There's so many, fad diets and fad workouts
Yeah.
and
The diets are what get me, and like the 30-minute get abs in 10 minutes, 10-day abs, all this stuff is crazy. It's truly, you need to build a foundation, and everything takes time. There's no true way to build muscle in 10 days. There's no way to get abs in 10 days. There's no lose 10 pounds in 2 days healthy wise. None of anything that comes quick will not last long. So, the whole aspect of building a foundation and, longevity is really what the main fitness goal should be about. Everyone wants to look a certain way so fast, but doesn't really want to put the work in to get there. Always looking for shortcuts and an easy way out. When in reality, there is no shortcut or easy way out. And you really have to just be able to buckle down and do the work and eat the food. And that's when things really are going to start happening. And unfortunately, to some people, it's gonna, it hurts them to hear that, but you're not going to look good if you don't put in the time. There's just too many wrong mentalities nowadays in the fitness industry, I think, that try to sell instead of encourage and, motivate people to look a certain way.
even like a body type is a fad in a way, because if you look back over the years, there's different, even whether it's male or female, like different body types are in style. And I think just trying to work towards like having healthier habits is a way that you're going to find like your own body that is like that looks best for you and on you and everything like that. But if you're trying to match a if you're trying to match a trendy body type, I think it's going to be challenging for most people to get that.
Everyone has their own look. Not everyone thinks bodybuilding is attractive. Not everyone thinks that bikini girls are the look. You really just have to go for the look that you feel comfortable in, and whatever you feel most comfortable in your own skin. It just kills me with like the skinny boy abs or whatever you want to call it, that like, they just think they have that whole body all figured out because they have abs. I just, that's not what fitness is about. It's more about physical and mental health. There's so much more to it than just having abs.
It's an easy kind of, when I say easy, it's not necessarily physically easy all the time, but it's an easy way to say this is health now. Now I'm healthy. Now I can kind of, I've made it, instead of just being like, okay, you know, I'm on a journey. That's really what it is. Like, it's your whole life. You're constantly on
Right.
this, and it's different because what is good for you at 25 may be different than how you take care of yourself at 50 and things like that. So, it's just an evolution of how you take care of yourself. And
Right.
it might be abs at 25, and at 50
Right.
it might be, you don't have a gut, and maybe you don't have abs anymore, but you can still do what you want to do physically. You can still pretty much at 60 and 70 can still do what you want to do. I think that, to me, at least is a goal worth going after. Just being able to stay active and stay kind of a little bit more self-reliant.
Right. Like, I mean, I think it's awesome when I go into a show and I see these guys that are 50 plus, 60 plus years old competing in these shows. Like, to me, I think that's more impressive than seeing these guys that are 30 years old that are, you know, just ripped out of their minds. To see these guys that are 60 years old that still have crazy shape and crazy size to them, and even just the conditioning that they bring, that's something that's really like motivating to see someone like that because, you know, like we're saying, everyone has different fitness goals. Everyone has a different look they're going for, but to be of that age and still have that kind of drive to work out and have that type of body still I think that's some of the most impressive stuff.
Yeah, it kind of goes to show you multiple things, the level of like it becoming a lifestyle, and then also the level of dedication and also the level of wanting to still compete. And I think that's really cool to have at a not necessarily old, but at an older age like
Right.
that.
What people lack is the dedication anymore. Everyone, like I said, wants that quick, fast results. It truly comes down to how dedicated someone is to. Doesn't matter how small or big your goals are. It's the dedication is what's going to get you there. You know, even if you just want to lose 20 pounds, the more dedicated you are to sticking to the plan and sticking to the workouts and the food you're eating, that's what's really going to get you there at the end of the day.
What do you think that the biggest mistake is, whether it's with their diet or their exercise, their fitness side of things? What do you think that biggest mistake is that people make when they get into trying to live a healthier lifestyle?
I think it's truly buying into these fads that just don't work. Instead of just really just going down to the basics is what always works. It's never these new trending things that'll last 20 days, look this way so fast. The biggest mistake is people listen too much to what everybody else has to say. I think if people were just truly to just everyone just does the basics and really just focuses on themselves, that's when the people really start making changes and sticking to the plan as much as when there's no crazy, workout to follow, no 30-minute in and out of the gym thing, no, you know, drink shakes all day, no solid food, like all this crazy stuff that you see. I think the biggest mistake is that people truly just don't want to understand how easy it really is. Dieting is truly really easy, and everyone makes it seem so difficult. But if you really just eat the clean foods, it doesn't have to be crazy diet foods, just clean foods and cut out the crap and stick to clean carbs and clean proteins and clean fats instead of junk food. Not only are you going to feel better about the food you're eating because physically you're going to feel better, your body's going to start thanking you. Then the gym becomes better. You have more energy, your lifts become stronger. You want to be at the gym more. And then, that's when the changes happen, is when you truly start just following a basic plan. I think the biggest issue is that everyone just wants to follow what everybody else is doing without knowing what they're doing is even working or not.
Right. Right. And I think a lot of times people will see like, oh, this person is losing weight or they're, putting on a lot of muscle and this is what they're doing. And then they try to do that. And it's just like everybody reacts differently and responds
Every
differently to
everybody's
everything.
body is different. Everybody's body is different. What works for me may not work for you. So that's why you kind of have to. Everything you do is a it's a trial and error. You have to know what foods. You may not like chicken. It may not react well with your stomach. You may not digest it right. So you kind of, as a person that's trying to get into fitness, even not even into fitness, just to get back into working out and eating right. You kind of just have to try things out and see what works for yourself. Before you go and follow what everybody else is doing, you have to really understand your body. You have to understand what foods react well with you, what foods don't. Some foods may bloat you, some foods may not. Somebody may not be able to digest broccoli and it makes them bloat, and then they hate how they look, and now they don't want to go work out. Now they don't want to go to the gym. Now they want to stop dieting because it's not working for them. But The whole idea is to truly just trial and error, find what foods work for you. And then once you kind of understand, I can eat this, this, and this, and I'll be good and I'll have energy and I feel good, my workouts are better, that's when you can start really seeing progress and change, because now you understand what's working for you and how you can manipulate that, and how it just makes like the gym better and your life better and just, all around energy.
Yeah, I think people want to get it right the first time, and that's just so
Fortunately,
almost impossible.
it is. It took me 5 years to really, to in the depth that I needed to understand my body, but it took me 4.5, 5 years to really understand what foods work for me the best, when and when and where. But that's also because I have to get mine down to a science for the bodybuilding aspect. For someone that just wants to get into the gym and improve their body, it's going to take a couple of weeks most likely to really figure out what works and what doesn't, in your own body. But you know unfortunately, not, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's, you really have to understand how food works, as well as when to eat certain things when you're trying to get into the whole aspect of fitness.
Yeah, I think education is a really big part of it, and unfortunately, we don't really have that education anywhere in our lives, and our parents didn't either, so they don't know, and we don't know really who to go to. So we see things on TV that are like, oh, this is a healthy option, or this is just the food we see on TV, so it's the everyday food, so we're gonna eat that, and we're not set up in a very solid position when it comes to just living healthy for whatever reason. It's just like, why wouldn't the country, support, surrounding us with these things to make us healthier?
Right. Instead, they make, the price of food that isn't as good for you cheaper than the price of good quality food, and it makes people's choices harder, because they're like, well, why would I spend $10 on chicken when I can go to McDonald's and get a whole meal for $5? And then the idea of cooking the food and the time consumption it takes. But if you didn't sit on social media for 2 hours a day, you'd have plenty of time in the day to cook the food. And in
Yeah.
the long run, how much money you save if you did buy the food and prep the food, compared to stopping every day and buying this and buying that and thinking that you're making conscious decisions, when in the long run it's really more efficient, money wise and for your body, to just buy the clean foods and cook them yourself.
One really basic thing people should be able to do when they first start, even kind of before they start, is like sit down and just think about and write down, where is my time going in my day, and where am I wasting it, and where can I, kind of create a little bit of time to do these healthier things. Like you said, most people probably do sit on their phones for a couple hours a day or watch TV for a couple hours a day when they could be meal prepping, and that's
Right.
maybe what, once, maximum of twice a week, and working out is what, maybe an hour a day if you do it, every
Right.
single day. It's like, guys,
I
we have time for this kind of stuff.
think time management is definitely one of the another key factor in the fitness lifestyle. You have to be able to really sacrifice in times and places that people don't really want to. People don't really want to sacrifice the time they have when they come home from work and sit on their couch and watch TV for 2 hours and have that unwind time. People don't want to sacrifice that. When in reality, if you get in the habit of just coming home and eating, or Mondays and Thursdays just coming home after work and putting in an hour or two just to cook the food, and just so it's ready for you the rest of the week, it makes going to the gym and it makes eating the food easier, compared to, you know oh, I sat down and watched TV for 2 hours, now I don't have the time to cook the food, so now I'm just going to go order out.
Yeah.
So I think time management is just as important as nutrition and going to the gym. Sometimes it's not even beneficial to go to the gym if you didn't eat right that day. If you didn't have enough food to fuel your workout, you're really just going to break down your body even more. So everything really goes hand in hand. And once you really get like a good stable rotation going down, or a good schedule, that's when everything like starts coming together.
Yeah, definitely. A good routine is one of those things that is almost like a life changer instantly, because you don't have to think about like, when am I going to do this, or when do I have time for this, because you've already set in place the day before or whatever. Like, okay, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to do this when I wake up, and I'm going to do this after work, and I'm going to do this before bed. It's like, it's there for you. It's a plan. And I think a lot of people try to go into a new routine and create a habit without a plan, and that can definitely be a stopping point for most people.
I think, for me, I hate going off my schedule. I'm so used to it nowadays. It when things don't go the way my schedule is planned, I feel lost. So I really think that once people understand time management as well, it makes things so much easier and just less stressful. I feel like people kind of put a stress on themselves that they don't need to. It really doesn't take that long to cook the food, and like you really have the hour and a half, 45 minutes, whatever you want to be in the gym for. You have that time in the day. I think people just often try and make excuses. I think once you can really mentally and physically buy into it, that's when things become easy. That's when you're not as worried about what other people think, or what everybody else is doing tonight. You're just really, you're independently making the best decisions for yourself, and that's like the most important thing to do. And once you're self-sufficient and independent, things will fall into place. Once you start doing everything that you need to do for yourself, and you're happy, because happiness is created by yourself. You can't find happiness, you create happiness. So once you're truly happy doing and achieving your goals, everything really just starts falling in place.
Yeah, and you mentioned it took you, like 5 years for those things to start happening. And I think that's one interesting part about it. If you put in the time, you might not have anything to show for it, in the first day or the first week or whatever. But if you put in the time, like, living a healthier lifestyle will take you places that you have no idea where they can lead. And it
Right.
might be like you become a marathon runner or a triathlete, or it might be you become an MMA fighter or whatever. It might be you get sponsored by these different brands. It's just like when you start out, you don't know where you're going to end up. You might have a goal and a plan and a vision, but like whatever goal it is, really, whether it's in fitness or business or your education, like, it's going to take you places that, if you just keep putting in the work and stay consistent and do what you can do in that specific moment, like, you're going to go places that you have no idea are even possible right now.
Right. I agree. And like you said, it goes for anything in life. The more you really put the time into whatever you want to accomplish, that's when you're going to get the most results. And that's when things start happening that you like. I never expected to be a sponsored bodybuilder, by this company that, Aries Nutrition is a great company, carries amazing products, and the owner just really takes care of me. And the teammates are just, they're amazing people, and everyone just really pushes you to be better, and just very, supportive. And it never did I imagine at 19 years old when I started, I lost my wrestling career, and everything just kind of like came to a halt, and I was kind of like, in that kind of depressed, age and stage where I was just like, what is next for me? And finding fitness just kind of really helped me get out of that hole, and gave me something to work towards. And I wasn't expecting to be sponsored. I wasn't expecting to win these shows. I followed my goals, and I allowed everything else to fall into place, because I used the gym was where I was happy. It's where I went to escape reality, truly, to just kind of focus on myself for me, it was just 2 hours, just 2 hours a day of self solitude, and having true enjoyment in the gym, and working out. And to get me to where I'm at now, I didn't expect any of this. I'm extremely thankful and happy of where I'm at now, and it just makes it easier for me to do this every day.
It definitely, you got to find that kind of that passion and that purpose to do it. And that's something that you got to put a little bit of thought into sometimes. And it doesn't all the time, it's not all the time obvious, because I think we're motivated so much by the external things in the world, that's like, okay, you should be this, you should be that, or you should want this and that, instead of thinking, what do I actually want? And you
Right.
know that's a huge thing for a lot of people to think about. And this time of year, we're all kind of thinking about it a little bit more, I think, with the new year coming up, and everybody knows New Year's means resolutions, and that means, new, trying to create new habits. And a lot of
Right.
times they're not successful for, hundreds and millions of reasons of that can be that can definitely be labeled as excuses most of the time. But what is that one habit? If you had to say to somebody who really wants to kind of get on the right track and who wants to make, whether it's 2020 whatever their year, and to me it's like, don't wait until the new year, do it right now. But like, for somebody who is just about to get started and they need that extra little push and that extra little piece to, that piece of wisdom, what would that be from you to kind of get them over maybe that hump?
Truly, it's just find what makes you happy. Not everybody in the gym is doing the same thing. Not everyone eating is doing it for the same reasons. You really, if it's hard to stick to something that doesn't make you happy, whether it's work, whatever you're doing outside of work, who you're around. My biggest thing is every year my father told me the same thing was surround yourself with people who are successful, because that will make you go in the proper direction. The one thing that you should listen to yourself is just surround yourself with the right people. Before you make any decisions and make realistic goals in the first place, is surround yourself with the right people that want to see you do better anyways. It's a lot easier when you have a strong support system to achieve your goals than it is to do it on your own. Everyone wants to say, they did this on their own, they did this on their own. Like, that's great. I'm happy for the people that can say that. But it's a lot easier to do it when you're supported by, a good friend system, family, whatever you have around you. It makes things a lot easier when people are rooting for you and cheering you on. It makes you want to do it more, because they are going to be the ones that see the results faster. You're not always going to see the changes in yourself faster, whether it's physically or mentally. The people that are around you are the people who are going to see it, and they're going to see it first, and they're going to let you know, like, hey, good job. Like, you're starting to look better now. Wow, you're really starting to think differently. It's impressive, and that's what's going to make you want to stick to it more.
No, I think that's really good advice, because the people who you surround yourself with, that's who you, and it's such a, maybe overused and corny a little bit, but that's who you become. You're going to become the sum of those five people, or, three people, or whoever it is, that you're closest to. So make sure that those people, they don't have to be, they don't have to say, have the same ambition as, like, the same goal as you. They don't have to have the same vision as you, but they should definitely be supportive of what you're doing, and they should be there whenever times get hard for you. So, definitely, I think that the people around you, that's a really, solid piece of advice.
Like, every year, and you should really make sure the people that are around you want the best for you. Like I said, they don't have to have the same goals. They don't have to be doing the same thing you're doing, but as long as they want the best that for you, that's all that matters. And that's when the best comes out of each other. And that's when you start lifting each other up and pushing each other, is when you truly want the best for each other. It's everyone nowadays, it's so competitive with everybody that you see online, with the arguments, and whether it's bodybuilding or fitness influencers, whatever it is. Like, it would be so much easier if the people just truly wanted the best for everybody. Like, I work out with people I compete against, and I love it. I'm not in there mean mugging them in the gym and wishing they get hurt. Like, no, I want them to do well, because it's only going to make me work that much harder to be well too. Because when you support each other, it makes competition even more fun, because you're enjoying it now.
Make this day, whether it's 2022, 2028, 2050, make today the day that you either get started or decide to stay on that track. Because even if it is hard to get started or hard today to stay on that track, making that decision to do it, it's going to make tomorrow a little bit easier to keep going, keep moving forward. Don't take your opportunity to live a healthy, happy life for granted, because it really is an opportunity that we get as human beings, especially, being lucky enough to live in this, amazing country. And there's, a lot of great countries out there, but having this opportunity to, have this self-determinate future, and ability to live any way we want and make the choices we want, but make those choices, for the majority of the part, choices that are going to make you better, a better person.
Right. And I agree.
But man, it was really good talking to you, and getting to meet you and having you on the podcast. Appreciate you coming on
I
tonight.
mean, I appreciate you definitely reaching out to me and having me on in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, everyone's got a different perspective on life and different perspective on fitness and the industry and whatnot. So it's always great to have these conversations with whoever and whomever it is, because it still gives it gives me a better perspective on things in a way too. So it's always great talk about it, especially when you're passionate about something. It's easy to talk about things that you're passionate about.
Definitely. I completely agree. Before we head out, though, if you want to let people know where they can find you on social media, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram is just Josh_Karichner. It's definitely tough to spell out my last name, but it's out there. Full Dimension Nutrition, that is my nutrition company. You can find us on Instagram and or just Googling it. And Aper Fitness is the clothing line that sponsors me, as well as Aries Nutrition. So there's definitely a couple of ways that you can find my name out there. And any support, I really appreciate it.